The following excerpt has been labeled Article A by law enforcement pursuing the Crash Bandicoot case. It was discovered within a bound journal placed inside of a safe at an abandoned office of Naughty Dog headquarters in Santa Monica, California. I know it's hard for some of the more casual gamers to believe, but the Super Mario Brothers and Sonic the Spiky Blue Hedgehog aren't the only platform gaming mascots who will make a significant difference in this world. In fact, with Sony entering the console gaming industry, they have a trick up their sleeve that isn't just constructing a CD add-on for the Super Nintendo. Maybe you've heard of this one, and maybe you haven't. But you will hear of this one. That I can assure you. You see, we at Naughty Dog are developing a character that we have colorfully monikered Crash Bandicoot. We have the word of Sony that they will market our guy as if he is their very own corporate mascot. Yet we cannot get them to acquire him in such a manner. We think it is because of how we are acquiring him. So who can possibly blame them? The plans have already been drawn up. Pizza Hut ads featuring him as a quirky, balding man in a costume carrying a boombox on his shoulder, an attempt to reach out to the younger generation, and a plea as desperate as Nintendo is stubborn about licensing their IPs. This man will have the charm of a sunglasses-wearing, skateboard-riding, cartoon grizzly bear who advises children to lay off snorting even a single line at any point in their lives. He will be lame, and he will distract the world while we perfect the real deal. The proper attitude. A cult of personality. Ah, yes. Our boy will command more attitude than that hedgehog, and his stylish blue jeans will render him ever so relatable to the tweens and even young adults. He will collect his mangoes. They won't be called that. We haven't finalized the name for them yet. As if they're Mario coins, candy, or diabetic in need of insulin. He will be fun. He will be adored by the gaming populace after some initial criticism of cliches, especially after they witnessed the live-action advertisement we are developing. The following writing is from an Article B, with the source said to be related, yet anonymous. Ever since I was young, I knew I was different. Couldn't tie my shoes, tell my left from my right, or even feed myself in the morning without guidance that was obvious to anyone who wasn't me. But you aren't here for me, of course. I know you're reading this, and you're here for Crash Bandicoot. When I was young, I knew everything. But in actuality, I was just a punk who really never took advice. With my physical and psychological handicaps, I turned to gaming as my only solace. I figured it would help me and already help millions of others like me, and it grew me, raised me to become a volunteer for Naughty Dog. My main tasks were purchasing coffee, sodas, and pizzas and try not to bicker about it, even though they paid me in packs of gum instead of subbing on wage in exchange for the fruit of my labors. But I dealt with it. I needed the experience, and furthermore, I wanted to be a part of the cure for challenged folk like me, the video game industry. After all, I was making history by helping to bring the irresistibly orange marsupial to life in family playrooms and gaming dens across the globe. I just did so modestly. Did I mention that I accomplished bringing Crash to life in more ways than one? Well, I did. Whether I intended to or not. I banged my eager, youthful fist on an employee door of our obscured game development HQ. If you've ever heard of cartoon hideouts, this was ours, but it was more of a rundown factory that we happily adopted because the landlord gave us a heck of a deal. But as they say, there's no such thing as a free lunch. So, nobody answered. Strange, but I had the patience of a saint. It was 6:15 a.m., and Crash Bandicoot developer Charles Zambias was always the first one to work, and I was second. After all, somebody had to tell the new kid what flavored donut sprinkles had to be purchased for the developers, and if I was lucky, he'd even supply me with a toothbrush to sparkle the toilets with, instead of me having to purchase one with my non-existent salary. Sparkles, sprinkles. I was a jack of all trades. Bow down to me. Just kidding. I'm not worthy of any real praise. 5 minutes or so after my initial knocks, I tapped on the door again, this time impatiently, loudly, with an attitude more reminiscent of Sonic the Hedgehog than Pac-Man or the Brooklynese Plumber Brothers. Thankfully, Charlie answered this time. Still don't know why he didn't answer the first time. He seemed off, but I wasn't sure how or why. You really should wash off those ink smears on your forehead, I uttered to the usually cool Chaz. He looked as if he'd woken up from a bad dream. Untidy, unkempt. This wasn't the man I was used to slaving for in the name of an allegedly family-themed entertainment. You need to come inside, kid. It's friggin' freezing out here. Well, that now is something you really do need to see. Uh, you don't seem to be yourself today, Chaz. Oh no, I'm still a family man. Nothing X-rated to show you. It's a secret though, so once you see it, you have to keep your lips sealed. You dig? I nodded. It wasn't every day that somebody made me feel like I mattered or even acknowledged that I existed. My eyes lit up with anticipation as I crossed my fingers and prayed to the mighty whatever above that it wasn't a dead rat for me, the intern, to dispose of, or even an eviction notice from the landlord. After all, that would delay our mission. So Charlie led me to the very back of the building. Steady stride, no prancing, and not quite a march, but I could tell he was on a mission. It was a room that I'd never seen before. Keep out. It read in bold red letters and a gothic font chicken scratched directly into the door. May as well have been written in wingdings, but being the nerd that I am, I memorized those characters back in grade school. Vague memories of the school bully giving me a wedgie, breaking in my family's house, shattering my ant collection. Are you sure we're allowed in here? I inquired of Chuck. That made no sense. He was the boss. Of course we were allowed in, but something just felt wrong in there. I shivered. Maybe it was because we didn't have proper heating in our practically derelict urban dwelling. Pipes hanging from the walls, rusted and adorning graffiti about who to call for a good time, that kind of thing. The dust and cobwebs didn't help the atmosphere either. I never really thought much about the art people spray painted just outside of that room, like the stick figures decapitated with a massive sword with circular slots carved into the blade, the name Justin Bailey or the Konami code. But I did notice a randomly colored mosaic of Adam and Eve biting into the forbidden fruit. The image is still burned right into me. Adam looked a little fuzzy, hairy, furry. Nah, but maybe. Well, given that I run the place, I'd say it's fine. Charlie opened the door without a moment's notice. Come on, kid, take a seat. We got stuff to talk about. I've got something I need to show you. Need! The desperate pleas more than freak me out, but for some reason, even when I sense traps, I walk right into them anyway, like a stubborn fool who doubles as a lovable cartoon protagonist. Also, I don't know what the hinge on the door was composed of, but whatever it was creaked like a cat in heat, and it's not exactly my idea of a pleasant noise. Or inviting one at that. Charles stretched out his arm as he presented me with a couple of desk chairs that may as well have been stolen from a first-grade classroom, and probably were. I hope you don't mind me saying this, Charles, but the crappy get-up here is making me wonder where those couple of G's Sonny Lennis went to. Those golden chocolate donut sprinkles, perhaps. Bah! Tacos and breadsticks. Chuck wandered off into a secluded space that couldn't have been larger than a one-person lavatory stall. We're going to conduct a taste test. Remember, family company, no X-rated entertainment here. Ah, shucks. I was hoping you were presenting me with a fuzzy peach. Why the hell did I say that? I mean, it's innuendo, but I don't normally talk like that, especially not to my elders. Huh? Believe it or not, buddy, you're on the right track. Charles came back, and it was about time because I felt strange talking to a voice that may as well have been dismembered. If I can't see you, I don't want to talk to you. I'm a nervous guy, you know. So, long story short, he had a piece of fruit in his hand. Kind of looked like a peach, though I didn't know for sure what it was. It's a mango, he said. Try it. I don't know. I don't take candy from strangers. I stuttered, realizing my man was hardly someone I didn't already know. I brushed my fingers around the texture. Kind of soft, a little slushy. Surfaces like that give me the creeps, but hey, I had to further video game science to people like me. If you like working in the game development biz, you'll try it out, Lewis. Oh, it wasn't like Charlie to threaten me. Combined with the pen ink scribblings on his forehead and that fizzy, untidy hair that stuck out on the ends, I was beginning to think that there was something wrong with Charles Ambius. Regardless, I thought of my dreams. Lewis Diggs, president of Naughty Dog, leading Crash Bandicoot into the new golden era of gaming and saving the socially anxious and those who pace around anxiously and talk to themselves but don't know why. Yes, come the mid-2030s, Mario and Sonic would be retired into the respectively mushroomy and green-hilled pastures, but Crash would be a mainstay, and the indisputable king of gaming mascots. He'd be a hero. He'd be one of us. One of us. All I ever wanted was to belong. Uh, Fine, man. I really don't see why me eating a peach, a mango, whatever, has much to do with my job, but screw it, I'll try it. I took a bite. Tastes like rancid elephant diarrhea, and on top of that, I swallowed something sharp. I spat it out like a prostitute with a salt aversion, coughing, wheezing, and gagging. Chuck was pissed. I felt a tingling in my spine as he turned as red as that mango was orange. He frankly brushed some strands of loose hair away from his eyes to reveal an N. You have a giant staticky N on your forehead, Charles, like the guy from the classic British comedy Red Dwarf. Instead of an L, you have a fucking N. Hey man, stop cursing. We're family entertainment. That you haven't even seen what's next. Oh, by the way, you just swallowed a needle, you dirty boy. Charles laughed neurotically while I gasped, spun around, fell to the floor, and fainted. And with that, one chapter of my life would end. Not just a new chapter or section, but a new book. That is to say, a new life was to begin. You see, I woke up in a laboratory. It was decorated with hundreds of vials of multicolored chemicals that didn't mean much to me. I was not used to waking up in laboratories. I was not a science experiment. Was I? Charles, or should I say the mad doctor, swirled around in his swivel chair and pierced his eyes directly into my soul. Wait, was that even Charles? He was a lot shorter now. Not just inches, but feet. Those eyebrows, so thick. He looked so angry, but also kind of funny. Why did he do this to himself? Did he do this to himself? Charlie, why? There is no Charlie. Well, I do have a faint, fuzzy memory of something. Somebody else from some other time. But he's gone now. My name is Dr. Neo Cortex. Chuck laughed maniacally, twirling strands of hair around his fingertips like a flirty schoolgirl. This was not like him at all. This was somebody else. And as for you, I have a faint memory of you being something else, somebody else from some other time as well. But I believe you have recently changed. And I don't just mean your clothes. What? I looked around some more, but what I really should have been looking at was me. My skin had turned orange, or was that all just hair? My gut had shrunk to what seemed like a marsupial-shaped belly. Instead of my classic black elastic sweatpants, stylish blue jeans were wrapped around my waist. I stumbled my way to a wall of mirrors and I gaped. Oh no. Oh my. Oh, good heavens. Good heavens above. The good news? My eyes were a beautiful, piercing green. The bad news? I was no longer human. Am I some kind of video game character? That's snickering. I'll never forget it. He was staring at me. I wasn't looking, but I just know he was, and then he said it. He fricking said it. Crash Bandicoot. You are the video game! Dr. Cortex screamed. At that moment, I freaked the hell out. Since he didn't bother tying me down and had free range in the lab, I started to run or perhaps jog really fast. I didn't know what to do because if I called the police, they'd just take me to animal control or a zoo or something. Maybe they'd think I was an alien. Well, this certainly was alien to me. I was going mad. I spun around, faster and faster, as if it was the Tasmanian devil, as Dr. Neocortex casually strutted closer and closer, rubbing his ray gun as if his promises of family entertainment had been a bold-faced lie the entire time. Just then I realized something. There were mangoes everywhere. Didn't know how or why, but I began to spin and spin some more. I spun and spun and spun, and the fruit went flying over the place worse than a grade school food fight. I knew I had to do something about Charles's, or Dr. Neocortex's, behavior, and fast. I don't know what it was. Something instinctive, maybe. But I leapt on some of the lab crates as if I was born to do it. The human side of me thought it was folly, expecting to land on some glass beaker shards that would cut me open and make me bleed all over the place. But inside were even more mangoes, as well as a tiki mask. Utabaga! It was lifelike. I mean, not like CG from a movie or even high-end animatronics, but simply, truly, honestly, real. Dr. Neocortex leapt on top of me, knocking me to the ground. He started to lick me. I lied, Crash. There's nothing family-friendly about this at all. He hissed and screamed. I realized what he meant when he hit me with his X-ray laser beam. I expected to hurt like hell, and I yelped a little bit, but all that really happened was the tiki mask that was hovering around me suddenly went away. Huh? I spun and spun again, successfully escaping that uncomfortable position. I jumped and jumped and jumped around as if somebody had force-fed their pet toad uppers, leaping on box after box, collecting fruit, and 3 of those island-inspired masks. That jolt of energy. I never felt anything like this before. I felt as if I could do anything. I ran straight into Neocortex and he screamed his lungs out comedically as his ray gun went flying. I was not interested in killing anyone or anything, so I ran, and I ran, and I spun, and I spun. Next room over, I snatched a lab coat and a cabbie-looking hat from a clothes rack. It was time to get the hell out of there. I rummaged through the pockets of the coat to discover an aesthetic airline ticket for a 9 o'clock flight to some tropical island. There was a brochure in the other pocket. Such beautiful pictures. We made this for you, Crash. We? Who is we? And how did they anticipate me? My nose. It was becoming rounder and rounder, less like a man's. I didn't have much time to make an escape. Now I knew where I could go. I was an orange marsupial. I needed to head where I belonged. I know that code and ticket had been placed there with me in mind. By taking that flight, I'm simply falling into the trap. That's what I do. I fall into all traps, no matter how obvious. While I hate to sign off, I think I've said enough. It's becoming harder and harder for me to write. I notice that I can't get myself to speak many words either. Just let it be known what's really going on here. I know no one can help me, so I'm making a fresh start far away in that place that was modeled out just for me. Hopefully, is where Dr. Neocortex will never find me again, and life will cease to imitate art. They won't come up with such a getaway plot just to torture and humiliate me, right? I know the phrase, not everyone is your friend, but doesn't there have to be somebody out there? With love, Lewis. With that, Crash Bandicoot's female friend Tana finished looking through the journal that Crash had kept hiding away. She did not know that it had been replicated without Crash's knowledge and consent and perhaps contaminated. According to him, ever since he was hit by a rolling boulder in a hog racing accident, his memory had simply been off, and all the things racing around his mind simply couldn't be true. But he knew what he knew. He knew what he had experienced, too. Would the truth be too much for her to handle? We'll just have to wait and see.